all of us are familiar with two ways ideas come to mind. So if I say 2 plus 2, something came to your mind. If I say 17 times 24, then nothing came to your mind, and you probably would have to produce it. You'd have to generate it in a slow and effortful process. So some thoughts are like 2 plus 2, and this is in some cases how a physician would make a quick diagnosis. All of that is what I call fast thinking, or system 1 thinking. The 17 times 24 is one of many examples in which we reason slowly and effortfully, and that is slow thinking or system 2 thinking. And when I speak of system 2, I speak of that, of effortful computation, and also of monitoring and control, because self-control is another effortful operation. System 1, the automatic kind of thinking, is something that clearly grew out of our animal heritage. I mean, animals perceive the world, and they perceive causality, and there is a great deal of understanding of the world that is shared. System 2 is distinctively human, and it is our ability to reason and our ability to delay gratification and to control ourselves. There's a great deal, and that is evolutionarily late. And, you know, it allows us to do great things, but system 1 is mostly in charge of what we do most of the time. Whenever people remodel a kitchen, now they have an idea of how much they're willing to pay, and they have an idea of how much it will cost. They may also know that for most people it costs on average about twice as much as they originally planned. But you don't feel that this applies to yourself. So you have that knowledge, which somehow is disembodied and is part of, you know, it's available to you, you know it, but you don't apply it. And that failure to apply it is characteristic of system 1. It doesn't use statistics very well, and it doesn't apply statistics to specific cases. A great deal of prejudice is built in, and to some extent is uncontrollable. I mean, it's something that we have to accept as a fact of life. We have stereotypes about everything. We have stereotypes about tables, and certainly we have stereotypes about social groups. Now, here is clearly a case where you would want system 2 to be in control. And because you may not want to say everything that's on your mind, and you may realize and try to confront your own stereotypes. And indeed, in some cases, people can improve themselves by thinking, can improve their stereotypes by thinking more deeply, so that even their initial reactions will be modified. Organizations and institutions can improve the way they make judgments and decision-making by searching for biases and by trying to reduce the impact of biases on their decisions. And that is a process of self-critique. I call it quality control over decisions, which I think is feasible within reason. You don't want too much of it, because you don't want what is called paralysis by analysis. But within reason, there is room for many organizations to improve what they do by a form of quality control. If you ask what is the role of biases in the crisis of 2008, there's one place where we certainly can see it, and this is the over-optimism of people who bought those mortgages that they could not afford. So they were making a classic mistake. Then there was a lot of optimism among the bankers who packaged those things, but that is more explainable by standard economics, because they had an incentive to do those things. But the people who bought the mortgages, they were biased, they were wrong, they were making a mistake.